What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie298 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And this is my first gaming-based video in a little while. During travel season, I was mostly making vlogs, and this video has been covered by a lot of other YouTubers before, but I want to make sure you guys see this because this is a great way to understand what the gaming industry is doing to us, specifically when it comes to mobile games, and how to avoid the tricks that are out there that take advantage of you. The video is called Let's Go Whaling, Tricks for Monetizing Mobile Game Players Within Free-to-Play Games. Yeah. Now, the video does focus on free-to-play games, but keep in mind, if you've played a game in 2019, you realize that most of the techniques that are in this game are also in AAA $60 titles as well. So keep in mind, a lot of the stuff still translates to the games you're probably playing. But before we get into it, I do want to say this video is proudly sponsored by the folks over at Glasses USA. And every pair of glasses you've seen me wear for the last 3 or 4 years, including these stylish shades, came from Glasses USA. Because it's summertime and the folks over at Glasses USA have some amazing sunglasses that you can get with your prescription built right in. And if you've never had prescription sunglasses, trust me, you want them and it's time for a new pair. Or if you're just looking to update your old glasses or you're getting a new style, Glasses USA has you covered because they have hundreds of pairs of glasses to choose from. You can upload a photo and try on different pairs to see what you're going to look like with that exact pair of glasses on before you purchase them. They have frames and lenses for as cheap as $40 to $50 for a set, and it all comes with a money-back guarantee. If you don't like your glasses for any reason, you can send them back for a full refund. So check out the link in the description box below and you will get an offer you can only get by watching this video and clicking on that link. Update your glasses, get a new style, get a new pair of sunglasses for the summer, and you'll be supporting me at the same time. Now, with that said, let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Some of you will probably be slightly shocked by all the tricks I have listed here, but I'll leave the morality of it out of the talk. We can discuss it if we have time later. So, let's dive right in.
So obviously he wants to leave morality out of it. I don't. I think morality is a key portion of this, and I want to talk about that for a brief moment here, because video games are supposed to be entertaining. Video games are supposed to be enjoyable. They're supposed to be a distraction from your normal, miserable life. It's not, video games are not supposed to be designed to milk you for every last penny in your bank account. So morally, this is wrong. And when we see the details of what he's about to talk about here, it's all about tricking the consumer. It's not about pleasing the consumer. It's not about making the consumer a happy person. It's not about making them feel like they're enjoying the game. It's about just tricking them into spending money. Moralistically, this is disgusting.
Wall Street trader and an oil sheik got into a fight. Who won? You guys did. This is to remind you that a lot of the spend comes from the high-paying guys, the whales, and the very best way to get these guys to spend is to get two rich, competitive guys to fight each other and tell them, I'll give you a slight upside if you pay me.
Basically, what he is saying here is that you are one of those people, I'm one of the other ones, and we are choosing their video game as our battleground to fight on. And they are basically going to war profiteer by selling one of us an advantage over the other. And that is video games in general, obviously, to try to get people to come and play your game and maybe play, versus games on your battlefield. There's no problem with that. It's when you start selling people advantages in those games, that's when it becomes immoral. Now, briefly, he goes on to talk about the Bartle type, showing that there are several different types of gamers, people who can be explorers, they can be killers, they can be socializers, and how to monetize for each of these groups. And you should watch this entire speech so that you can see exactly what he's talking about. I'm more of an explorer, so I mostly want content. Killers want competitive advantages, and customization is for the socializers. And he talks about the real breaking point, the people who like to buy competitive advantages. Those are the people who spend the most, followed by content explorers. And actually, customization is a very, very minor spend for a lot of these games, which it comes as no surprise because you'll see most YouTubers don't complain about customization because it really doesn't affect the gameplay. Of course, what does affect gameplay is the most profitable and is the most commonly purchased, according to this speech. Which is why myself and other YouTubers complain about games with a pay-to-win mechanic in it. If that exists, people are going to do that. There are plenty of people who can't afford to pay to win, so they're going to want to play the game, and if they can't pay to win, they're going to fall behind. And then the rich whales are the people who get ahead. Nobody wants to play that game. Only rich people who can afford the advantage want to play that kind of game. So obviously, we're always going to complain about that kind of game. And if you discover pay-to-win mechanics in a game, I hope you walk away from it. Because chances are, unless you're a multimillionaire, that game's not designed for you. If you're not spending hundreds of dollars on one of those games, then you're not the target demographic of a pay-to-win game. You are there as a non-spender, as someone for the people who do spend money on to beat up. You are just there to make the people who do spend money appreciate the money they spend.
Hook Habit Hobby. This is a model from Dmitry Dravanov of Flare Games. It's a model for how people progress in a game. The hook is what gets you into the game to try out a free-to-play game. Then you build it into a habit that you play multiple sessions every day. And then at the end, it's the hobby phase where people see it as one of their main hobbies, and they put lots of time and resources into it.
The concept here is very simple. They get you hooked on the game either by selling it to you or giving it to you for free. Then they establish a daily routine, or you coming back several times a day to create the habit. And then eventually, once you've done that game enough, you identify with it as part of your character. It becomes a hobby. I play Battlefield 5. I play Magic the Gathering. I play Legendary Heroes or Clash of Clans. That's one of my hobbies. And it's okay if I spend money on that. And that is a psychological trick. So whenever you see a modern game that has a daily quest system that makes you come back every single day, or a pay-to-wait system in which you have to come back in 4 hours or 6 hours, set down the game, but come back in a little while, that is a manipulative trick. Again, that can be used in a modern game. I feel like there's some simulation games where that belongs, but I really don't feel that belongs in a lot of modern games. And if they do put that in modern games, it's either to maintain the player base, which is okay, or to get you hooked on that game, so hopefully you'll spend money to grind out the stuff that you'd be grinding out with dailies anyway, just instead with a credit card. He goes on to talk about gacha games, and chances are you've played a game like this in which you unlock a character or you unlock a skin via a random system, and he compares this to a card game like Magic the Gathering. The difference, though, is a card game like Magic the Gathering, you can buy the individual cards you want directly. It's much more difficult to do that in a gacha machine or any of these games that use these gacha mechanics. And it's G-A-C-H-A-S, not got you as in I got you, but as in gacha, as in collectible toys in Japanese. And this obviously points back to the surprise mechanics. I didn't get to make a video about this because it was traveling, but we saw EA saying that loot boxes are just surprise mechanics, and people love surprise mechanics. And EA is not entirely wrong. People do love surprise mechanics. People do like to open packs of cards. People do like to open loot boxes. It does give you a rush. It does give you a good feeling. People like to gamble as well. The problem is when you involve cash in this equation. When you monetize it, that's when it becomes immoral. There's nothing wrong with opening magic cards. There's nothing wrong with opening loot boxes. There's nothing wrong inherently about that. It's only when you involve money that it becomes an issue. Surprise mechanics are fine as long as you're not selling them. Another interesting point he makes is that when you're designing your game, you have to decide whether or not you want a large volume of players, probably something like Fortnite where everybody plays but not a lot of people spend money, or a game like, say, Mobile Strike or Clash of Clans, one that's a little more niche that your average player will not be interested in, but the people who are interested in it will spend a lot of money. I think a game like Anthem was designed to be that, not mass market appeal, but just something that the people who do want to grind on it will spend money. So be careful when you buy one of those niche games. Magic the Gathering Arena is a perfect example of that. They've really got my number on that game. I spend a lot of money on the game, like $100 every 2 or 3 months, because I'm a niche player. And I'm more than glad to admit that it's one of those games that takes advantage of me.
Hot State. There's an excellent book about behavioral psychology called Thinking Fast and Slow. This is the fast thinking. I'm telling you that the fast thinking mode is what you want. The slow thinking is your analytical brain. What's 12 times 47? I'm sure all of you can answer that, but you have to start your actual thinking brain to do that. Now, if I say, complete the sentence, bread and everyone's thought, butter.
The point he is making here is that if you stop to think about whether or not you want to spend money or spend currency, chances are you're way less likely to do it. But if they get you at a end over screen with a continue option where you can plop in a quarter, you're obviously going to be more likely to go ahead and continue to try to beat that game by spending the extra 25 cents. It's a tactic as old as video games itself. The way that translates into modern games for the most part is whenever you lose a game, they will dump you into a store that allows you to buy a competitive advantage, go buy more cards, go buy more stuff, get a competitive edge so that you can beat these guys, or even sometimes they'll just drop you in a cosmetic store so that you can buy something to make you feel something a little bit better about yourself. But it's very highly manipulative, and if you see a store right after you've lost a game, chances are this is what they're doing to you. Be careful with that. Before you ever spend money on a mobile game, before you ever spend any money on a video game whatsoever, give it a cool down period. Don't purchase right after you play the game, right after you buy. Give it 24 hours, wait a day. And I recommend this for any purchase in your life. Give it 24 hours, wait a day before you purchase it. Don't buy it in the store. Don't buy it when they're showing it to you. Give it a little while. Determine whether or not it's something you actually need. Chances are, especially with video games, if you wait 24 hours, you are never going to spend that money. Most of the purchases you'll make in a video game come when you're heated, when you're angry, when you're really into the game, or when they hit you in the face with what feels like a really, really good deal. Give it some time. Don't purchase right away. Chances are you won't purchase at all. We've also talked a lot about fear of missing out, and he goes on to great detail about why fear of missing out actually works. But it comes down to offers and scarcity, how rare an item is, how unique an item it is, how unlikely it is that you will get that item. And when they offer that to you for a limited period of time, you will absolutely be more tempted to get that item. Even if it's something that doesn't even provide a competitive edge, even if it's just a cosmetic item, you are more likely to pick it up because you've never seen it before and you only have a limited time to purchase it. Be careful of this technique because it works on people almost every time. We saw it in Anthem, and we'll see it in many more video games to come.
The point of this is the builder has a very specific way of working. If you spend your hard currency on this guy, you will only get the benefit from him if you then keep coming back to the game very often. So it drives both retention and monetization. Build stuff that makes people come back to your game a lot in order to get the value out of that.
So what he is saying here is it goes back to hook, habit, and hobby. This is something that if you do purchase something that has a very, very good value of it, say like a coin doubler for a game that allows you to collect coins to spend inside the game, you will purchase that at a very, very low price, but that will produce the habit. You will want to come back to take advantage of that coin doubler. It gets you to play the game a lot more, and it's another technique you should be careful of. When you're looking at that really good deal that at the beginning of the game looks like such a good deal, you would be stupid not to purchase it. This is what they are doing to you. They are getting you to spend, they're getting you hooked on the game, and they're getting you to turn it into a habit and eventually a hobby. So you're better off not playing the game at all. When you see one of those techniques, just walk away. He goes on to talk about the technique of anchoring, and this is one that you will see in retail stores. You will see pretty much everywhere. They offer you one price to give you an idea of what something should cost, and then they offer you a new price that then makes you feel like you are getting a good deal. Perfect example of this technique could be found in Fallout 76. During the Christmas sale, they had some items that were originally listed for 2,400 atoms or 3,000 atoms were heavily discounted by about 50%. Here's the problem with that though. Those items had never been listed before, and after that sale would never be listed again. This was them putting an anchoring price of 3,000 atoms and then discounting it down to 2,000 atoms to make you feel like you were getting a good deal. But the way he explains this in mobile games is a little more nefarious even. They will show you a $100 or $200 package that makes you roll your eyes thinking, who will ever spend $100 on this game? But then when they hit you with a $20 package with very similar items in it that's in the $100 package, it makes it feel like a good deal. So you're more likely to purchase, especially if they then discount that all the way down to $10 and you're getting what feels like $100 worth of value, but it's not $100 worth of value because they never expected you to pay that to begin with. Just like Fallout 76 never expect you to spend 3,000 items on an item that was never going to be for sale for 3,000 items. They know what they're doing.
If we tell people they are a certain way, if we compliment them on being nice, good citizens, they are more likely to behave as nice, good citizens. So you should actually tell your players that they are generous individuals who have a taste for good art and want to support their game developers by paying you and buying IAPs. Related to that, also, telling people the reason to do something makes them much more likely to actually follow through and do that. Spend because reasons. The reasons don't even have to be that good in order for this to work.
This is one that I think is the most nefarious. Is you will see a lot of people saying, especially in the gaming industry, we need that extra money. We need you to spend more than the $60, buy the expansion pass, then buy the gacha mechanics, buy the loot boxes, because it supports the developers. And when you see that technique, know that there might be some level of truth in it, because that monetization might make or break a company. But the reality of it is they are manipulating you, telling you that you are a good supportive customer so that you feel like a good supportive customer. They're telling you that they need it for a reason, and that's not a particularly good reason anyway. If a company can't make a profit selling a game at $60, then they shouldn't be making that game. You shouldn't have to count on whales and other monetization. That's just a flawed business model that they use as an excuse to make sure that you and I spend as much money as humanly possible. At the end of the day, they're just trying to justify your purchase, and they are manipulating you to do so. Don't let them. And there you are, right from a developer's mouth, a CEO's mouth. This is how they take advantage of you. This is how they steal money from you. And this is what we've seen back in 2016 when he made this. This was about mobile games, and now it's about modern AAA $60 titles doing the exact same techniques. And now you know a little bit better how to avoid it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, lawmakers are now working on regulating the gaming industry, but we have a power to regulate it better than they ever could. And that's just by simply recognizing these techniques and not letting them take advantage of us in that way. And if you choose to do that, if we all choose to do that, they'll stop doing it. They'll find a different way, but hopefully we can stop them from doing that as well. Maybe one day we'll get to a point where we can buy a game for $60 or, God forbid, maybe $80 one day and just get the entire game with no upsell, and we just get to enjoy the game. Whether they hook, habit, hobby, whatever it is, I don't have a problem with those techniques as long as I'm not spending money on that stuff. Give me to play your game every day. I want to play your game every day. Hook me on your game. Just don't make me pull out my credit card to do it. Now, this is all just one man's opinion, and I could be wrong, and if I am, let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, hopefully this video has helped you save a little bit of money, and you can use that money to purchase yourself a brand new pair of sunglasses or glasses for the summer, or just get a new stylish look, starting as cheap as like 50 bucks. Check out the link in the description box below. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.